Hi friends, let's talk about pressure ulcers. When we talk about these pressure ulcers, look at the bony prominences where they can occur. Back of the head, around the shoulder, base of the spine, the buttocks, very common. Around the heel, around the toes. A pressure ulcer is a localized injury to the skin or the deeper tissues, wherever you have a prominence, due to a pressure along with combination of a shear. The position of the patient will decide which bony prominence will be under pressure and will rub off. For example, supine position, the back of the head, around the shoulder, around the elbows, the buttocks and the heel. The lateral position, around the ear, shoulder, again elbow, hip, thigh, leg and the heel. And in the prone position, the elbow, the rib cages, the chest area, the thigh, the knee and the toes. What are the risk factors? You have intrinsic risk factors, you have the extrinsic risk factors. Old age is more vulnerable to the pressure changes. Skin, the surface, keep moving, incontinence, lack of nutrition, they are issues. In intrinsic factors, if there is impaired consciousness, protective mechanism is not there, sensations are not there, very common. Low nutrition, very common. Dehydrated state, very common. Steroids, immunosuppressant, very common. Immobility, very common. Whereas extrinsic factors, moisture, pressure. Shear increases it, friction increases it. European Pressure Ulcer Advisory Panel, EPUAP, classifies these pressure sores from stage 1 to stage 4, depending on stage 1 when you have non-blanchable erythema, stage 2 you have more deep, stage 3 deeper, stage 4 right till the bones. Non-blanchable erythema, you have an intact skin but there's a redness. Darkly pigmented skin, you won't be able to observe them well, and the surrounding coloration may affect its appearance. The area may be painful, you might have a feeling of firm or a soft, can be warm or relatively low temperature. Category 1 may be difficult to detect in dark skinned individuals, but catch it earlier the better. Partial thickness involving up to a dermis. It will present as a shallow open ulcer with a red pink wound bed without slough. May also present as an intact or open serum filled or serosanguinous filled blister. It presents as a shiny or a dry shallow ulcer without slough or bruising. This category should not be used to describe skin tears, tape burns, incontinence associated dermatitis, macerations or excoriations. These are pressure sores. Full thickness. Subcutaneous fat may be visible, but bone, tendon or muscle are not exposed. Slough may be present, but does not obscure the depth of tissue loss. May include undermined edges and tunneling. Bone or tendon is not visible or directly palpable in grade 3. Grade 4, slough or eschar may be present, exposed bone, tendons or muscles. There might be undermining and tunneling as shown. Category folds can extend into muscle and may lead to osteomyelitis going till the bone. Exposed bone or muscle is visible or directly palpable. unlike category 3 where they are not. Treatment. Stage 1, protect the area with a transparent film. Prevention is the cure here. Stage 2, dressing to maintain good moisture. Stage 3, debride the necrotic area. Coverage with appropriate dressings. Treatment of infection if it is there. Stage 4, debride the necrotic area. Cover with dressings. Treatment of infection if there, it may require surgery. Prevention. Relieving direct pressure on the pressure source. Change the position. Keep moving as much as possible. Stand up to relieve pressure if it is possible in the patient. Ask your carer to reposition you regularly if you are incapable to move. This should be done every 2 hours. Use special pressure relieving mattresses and cushions like air mattress. Don't drag. Prevent the shear feels. Keep your skin dry and clean. Avoid scented soap as they can be more drying. Moisture your skin thoroughly after washing. Avoid using talcum powder as they dry and the skin will have the fulcrum to cause the sores. Keep your skin well moisturized. Make sure the bed sheets are smooth, there are no wrinkles. They should be made of cotton or silk-like fabric. Eat a good diet, maintain your nutrition. Have at least 2 liters of fluids a day. Tell your doctor or nurse if you notice any change in the skin color or discomfort any pressure area. Let's talk about wound cares and dressings. Methods of wound healing. There are wounds which will heal by primary intention. For example, union of the edges of a wound under aseptic conditions. A laceration or an incision that is closed with sutures or the skin adhesive. Clean wound. Healing by secondary intention. When the wound's edges have a gap, cannot be brought together. They are left open and allowed to heal by the contraction and epithelialization. Tertiary intention or delayed primary closure. Wound has been left open and then closed primarily after a few days, usually when the swelling, infection, or the bleeding decreases. Phases of wound healing. Stop the bleeding, hemostasis. Stage of inflammation, proliferation, and the last stage of remodeling. Wound healing phases. Number 1, hemostasis, which usually lasts for minutes. Vasoconstriction will occur within a few seconds of tissue injury, and the damaged vessels constrict to stop the blood flow. The inflammatory phase will be between 1 to 5 days. There will be an activation of the clotting factors, release of histamine, vasodilation will occur. The liberation of histamine also increases the permeability of the capillary walls. Plasma proteins, leukocytes, antibodies, and electrolytes will extrude into the surrounding tissues. It will look red, swollen, and increase temperature. These signs will also have pain and tenderness at the wound site. It will last for up to 5 days, and you might suspect that there is an infection, more so between day 1 to day 3.